What's with all the police trucks outside and the cameras everywhere, Jamie? I'm not supposed to tell.
Josh, let me tell you, I love this movie. To me, it's almost like a serial killer has a bad day at work. You know what I mean? Now, you're incredible in this role as Cooper. And to me, I feel like the heart of this movie is really a father and daughter love story, which I completely related to. And I found myself cheering for Cooper at times.
Good.
Can you talk about bringing that humanity and lightness to such a dark character?
Well, it's human and it's light to us. But to him, it's a facade.
Right.
That he then learns might not just be a facade. And that's what makes it so interesting, is that this thing is set on a day where all this stuff happens that kind of forces him to reevaluate who he is.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever seen a movie like that.
No, and nor have I seen you in a role like this before, and absolutely incredible. Now,
Thank you.
I got to talk about getting the tone right for Cooper, because I think that M. Night is a brilliant director and writer. Can you talk about working with him to craft Cooper and getting the right tone and flavor for the character?
Yeah. Well, Knight's incredibly collaborative because he's a great filmmaker, and I think all great filmmakers are not worried about protecting their vision so much because they, it's the more insecure filmmakers who just don't want to compromise on anything because they don't want anything to go out of their control. Knight is, he's very warm, he's very optimistic, and he knew when he sent me the script, he knew it was going to be a tough ask for any actor, and he entrusted it to me, and I wanted to give him the most extreme and interesting version of this character that felt credible.
Absolutely.
Like, it needed to feel like it was one guy, and it needed to feel like all of these different layers were part of one, and not just like he was putting on these things for the sake of it, but like a need. Like, he yearned for something, some sort of understanding of himself, some sort of understanding of family that he didn't have, and that led him down the path to get to this point that now he's able to sort of understand a little bit something else about himself. And then also, it had to be super entertaining. So it had to be fun, it had to be done with a light touch, and that's a really difficult thing to pull off. Also, we're basically telling the audience, like, this main character is a serial killer, and then we have to convince them to actually enjoy being around him and follow him through this piece and maybe hope that he escapes. It's a tough thing to pull off, and I think Knight did an amazing job.
Oh, absolutely, and it's crazy because he essentially shot a concert that was like a world tour, but also a thriller film at the same time. Can you talk about the different approach to filmmaking that he used with that?
Yeah, well, because as you say, he had to put up the whole concert. He was working on that before we actually went to shoot for a long time, so they knew they had a whole series of people that had worked on concerts before and put up big pop concerts to kind of like create the show that then Celika was rehearsing with all these dancers. And so by the time we got to actually film, they had created this as though it were coming to town, right? But then for them to make that kind of go on over and over and over again and have the audience interact in the way that they did, it's quite a challenge, you know? And like, we shot this for almost a month in that one location. So a lot of the kids were young who were there, as they are at like a Taylor Swift concert or whatever, and they had to know all the lyrics and like they had to be enthusiastic, and we had a core group of people that were right around us that were kind of gonna be on camera a lot, and a lot of them were young and they really appreciated Celika's music and they loved the whole process, and it was just I mean, it's quite a feat, but also Knight has a way about him of convincing people to do things that I think most people wouldn't be able to convince people to do. Like, it's a remarkable, it's so cool.
Now, I was so impressed with Celika. First of all, she wrote, produced, and recorded this album.
Yes.
She learned the choreography. She's acting for the first time in a film, and she put on a banger of an album. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Can you talk about her dedication to the role and what impressed you the most about her?
What impressed me the most was the part of it that Knight didn't tell me about beforehand, which was I knew she was going to put on a concert. I knew it was going to be pop style, and she's not a pop artist, right? So that she was going to have to change her genre and the way that she approaches her music. She was going to have to learn all this choreography that she had never done anything like that before. And she was going to have to be a larger-than-life character. All of that stuff, very difficult. And then also play a real character in the movie. All of that, very, very difficult. But the thing that he didn't tell me is that she's actually scoring the movie. She's actually like, if you listen to what's going on, what she's saying in the songs, it's kind of the internal monologue of Cooper to an extent. Like, that's an insane thing to pull off. So I'm in awe of what she was able to do. Kind of like I'm in awe of what Knight was able to do in creating the concert environment, making sure that that all was locked in, and then also directing us in the film. Like everybody worked much harder than me on this movie. Let's just put it that way.
Now, I want to talk about Ariel Donahue, who
Yeah.
plays your daughter. She's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible, and I
Yeah.
think the chemistry really jumps off of the screen with
Yeah.
you guys. Can you talk about building that chemistry between you and Ariel?
Oh, 100%. She was just the most lovely and open and sweet actor, and her family was there. They met my family. We all hung out. But Ariel's just like, she's such a natural that you just want to. I mean, we played on set and it worked, and just like kind of goofed around, and then she would say her lines, I would say my lines, but really we just kept it really light. And the nice thing about that character is that for most of the movie she doesn't know what's going on, and so we got to keep it just simply dad and daughter style, and she understood that relationship really well. And all the dark stuff sort of hidden away from her. But then when it came to the emotional stuff, she was right there, right on it as well. She's super professional. But yeah, no, so much fun to work with her.
Now, the last question I have for you is, I feel like we are in the Josh Hartnett renaissance right now with Oppenheimer to Trap, amazing roles, and it really shows your range as an actor.
Thank you.
What do you look for in characters that you want to take on now?
Kind of the same thing I've always looked for. I hate to say that, but it's true. I always want to look for something that kind of changes people's idea of what they think I am, or what they think I can do.
Right.
I want to surprise people. It's fun as an actor to play all sorts of different roles. I don't understand actors who just want to do one thing all the time. I always want to do something completely different from what I've just done. And luckily these days, like a lot of big directors are allowing me to do it and play in their films. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to keep doing this for a while.
Incredible,
We'll see.
Josh. Thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
You're kind of dope, right?